I just love the colours of this one. I cannot help it. It's not my fault. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Josie. I make videos about art and sketching and all things creativity. Today I come to you with a confession that I have fallen in love with a new art supply and it's dangerous for my wallet. Okay, but before I tell you about the soft pastels, I just want to explain why I've never used them before. And that is because I've always had this weird thing about texture. I don't know if anyone else has this. With certain things, like when I open a cardboard box or touch a piece of paper in a weird way, I get this feeling like nails on a blackboard and it just makes me cringe. And for the longest time, whenever I've encountered a soft pastel in the wild, in like an art class or at school or just anything, I have had that weird feeling of nails on a blackboard and I can't explain it. I don't know why I get it, but it has put me off trying any type of pastel and I just thought they just weren't for me. So I just went all in with watercolour and was like, there's no point trying these other mediums because they just feel weird and I don't like them. And that was until recently when I started following an artist called Frances Ives on Instagram and joined up to her Patreon, and she's all about mixed media. And she loves these soft pastels called Unison soft pastels, and I'd never heard of them before. So I thought maybe I'd just tarred all of the soft pastels with the same brush, and actually they weren't as bad as I remembered. So then I did the inevitable Jackson's order, obviously, and spent probably a bit too much money. The first ones I got were this Emma Colbert animal set. Now I mainly paint landscapes, so it would have made more sense for me to get the landscape set, but I just love the colours of this one. Like, look at these colours. It is in the half pans, which are slightly cheaper because they're just half the size of the regular size sticks. And as soon as I started using them, I just became obsessed. I've now used them in every sketch that I've done, every watercolour painting in my sketchbook, I have added these in somewhere and I'm just absolutely obsessed with them. And I'm happy to report that they are so soft and buttery and smooth that they do not give me that weird feeling of nails on a blackboard, and they actually feel nice and satisfying to use. It's kind of the opposite feeling. They feel really fun to use. I don't smudge with my finger too much. I do sometimes, but that's when sometimes that feeling can come in. So I tend to use paint brushes instead. I've just got some old watercolor brushes that I've been using that I don't mind if they get a bit of the pastel on them because they're just old. I find that the firmer brushes work a bit better than softer, and more synthetic brushes seem to work better for me anyway. I think just because I can get in there with the pastel and sort of push it into the paper a bit more. I think if you want a really soft effect and you want to really blend them out, then obviously something a bit softer would work better with blending, but it's all just a bit of an experiment. It just depends what look you're going for and what you're using them for. I've also realised something very exciting, which is that you can wet them and use them almost like watercolour. The pigment starts to spread out and acts a bit like watercolour, but it has its own unique look that I've not really seen in any other paint or medium. So I'm really loving doing that. I've seen a few videos trying different brands, and I think some do it better than others, so definitely just do your research if you're wanting to use your soft pastels with water. I got this Emma Colbert animal set, even though I don't really sketch animals that much, mainly just because the colours were so good, and there's quite a lot in there that you can use for a landscape. There's a lot of blues that you can use for the sky and a lot of warm earth tone. When I got this, it was just turning into autumn and the orange leaves were all coming out here in the UK, and it was just the perfect time to be using these colours. After a while I did realise that I needed some greens, so I did order a few more. So I got 2 greens and an orange colour, but they are a bit pricey, so I'm just trying to be a little bit sensible, and I've asked for the landscape set for Christmas, so we'll see if I get that. I don't know. The only other thing to bear in mind if you're using these pastels for your sketchbook is that they do smudge slightly, so you do need a fixative. I actually haven't got a fixative yet. I really need to get one. I just haven't gotten around to it. I've heard that you can use hairspray to spray down the pages. That could potentially work as an option if you've got some hairspray lying around. Even though I said I don't sketch animals, I was kind of inspired by the animal set to try doing a few squirrel things. So as you can see, when I've got quite a lot of the pastel here, and it has smudged onto the next page. So that's just something to bear in mind, but it doesn't bother me too much, especially for a sketch like this where it's really messy anyway. I wanted to quickly show you some examples of when I've used it and how, along with my watercolour. So this is a sketch that I did of one of my followers suggested a place to look on Google Earth, and I just decided to sketch it from the view that I could see on Google Earth. And the places that I used the soft pastel in the sketch were in the shadow area here, and in the like grass I've got quite a lot of soft pastel going on in various different areas, and also in the shadow of these rocks as well. So I've kind of used it in a few different places, and yeah, I'm just really enjoying how it's looking when combined with watercolour. And in this one I used it a lot in the trees, especially in the background, because you can get it quite soft, and so it works really well for things in the background. I think I used some white up here in the clouds on top of the watercolour that I put on. And in this page of my sketchbook I've just done some swatches, and I've stuck in the label of some of the full size ones that I bought, because I like to be able to sketch on the side of the stick, so I don't like to have the paper still attached. So I've just stuck the paper in here so that I can remember what I've ordered, and yeah, I have all of the swatches here. So that is my new discovery of a new art supply that I will probably spend too much money on. If you have a favourite Unison pastel colour that you think I would really love, I would like to hear about it, although I probably shouldn't spend any more money on them. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and sorry if it results in you going out and buying more art supplies. I cannot help it, it's not my fault. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.